Welcome to Grover Load. I'm Anthony, and here we go with the GeForce RTX 4060. Nvidia says beyond fast. And I've been watching some reviews on this, trying to get my head around where Nvidia is trying to come down with this card. Right, we just saw AMD adjust a little bit with their pricing with the 7600, and that dropped down to 250, where it should have been launched at. And we're getting bits and pieces here and there from all these makers that they have stock of cards, and no one's really just going out and just, as much as cryptocurrency was, they aren't going out there that fast and buying them this generation. So at some point the market will have to come down, in my opinion, even a little bit more. But as we jump over here, this card is going to be officially released tomorrow, I believe is what they kind of say on their site. And TI is available now, and June 29th, so tomorrow. And I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts on this card here. I'm a little disappointed, right? They had that teaser out, and then they had, or from some reviewers, and then they had the full reviews coming out today. Maybe it's to try to gear you up to want to go out and buy it. But as much as the 4060 Ti got bashed, the 4060 is not as bad from the reviewer standpoint. I think the price is still high, and I think that the backwards side of things compared to last generation, your smaller bus, your smaller PCI Express bandwidth, while that may not make a difference in this card, let's say you were going to throw this in a PCI 3 generation, you might see some performance degradation that you weren't expecting. So keep that in mind if you're on some older platforms on PCI Express 3.0, that you only have by 8 instead of by 16. So just keep that in mind as you're doing it. This card is kind of, because of I think partially the bandwidth limitation, 8 gigs of VRAM, it's more of a 1080p card, and you may come across some certain performance things that you weren't expecting. It seems like in some of the reviewers, now I don't have this card to review. I'd like the card to review, but I don't have it. I think that there's some of this where you're seeing some erratic, some what looks like to be really good performance, beating out the 3060 Ti from the 4060 standpoint, which is what it should be doing, and then other times where it can't, keep up even with, the 3060 in some areas, it seems like there. So, again, as we go through here, amazing ray trace performance with DLSS 3. Oh my gosh, can we get over this? Incredibly power efficient. Nvidia, I was listening to this, and Nvidia is talking about power efficiency, what you're going to save over 4 years. Who believes that Nvidia wants you to have this card for 4 years? No, they want you to upgrade over time. For high frame rates at max settings, no sweat. Yeah, 380p, 1080p champ. PC Magazine, performance per watt is outstanding. Yeah, I will give it that. Must have. I don't think that is true. Now, this may be more for the 4060 Ti than the 4060, but I clicked on the 4060 and it gives me this 4060 family. Don't ask me. You get it at 300, not a horrible price considering what market we're coming out of. But if you listen to any of my other videos, and I still think the prices are going to drop basically because of this. In fact, Gamers Nexus kind of alluded to this in his video, what he expects a little bit about pricing going down, because it just seems like everyone is, in that area of, hey, things got to go down. So you got your performance right there, comparing to 3060 and then the 1060 and 2060, right? They say, yeah, you got some good performance, but it doesn't seem like it's all that big of a jump in some areas. Flight simulator, that's a hard one. Just so you know, just keeps this on. So DLSS super resolution quality mode on 20 and 30 and 40 series where it's supported. So there's that. 3060, so 40, fraction of the power. Let's see. Over the 3060 12 gig, you got some more RAM there. Yeah, but is that enough? I get power is more expensive in other countries. Let's say you're going to keep this card for a year. because the 5000 series might be out, or let's say 2 years when the 5000 series should be out for sure. Is this enough savings for you to game as much as you game to offset the cost of not getting that much performance increase over the 3060? Is it? Right? That's something to offset there. It's kind of like the more you buy, the more you save. So that, they had some stuff here with all this other stuff. Game ready drivers, of course. Boost clock 2.46 gigahertz on this, 8 gigs of RAM, GDR6. So just remember that this is an 8 gig card. I don't get why we're still sitting here at 8 gigs. I really would have liked to seen 12 gigs across the board, but let's just hit here to get you some pricing. It looks like you'll have a couple at $299, everything else at 300 and above, and so the 299 ones are below. Actually, there's going to be one more, so up to 340. At 340, you should be jumping to a 4060 Ti. You got the 7600 in there as well, just to give you some idea of what's out there. This is Newegg. Let's see, what do they have? Let's go to Amazon. Does Amazon have it here? 4060 Ti. I don't know if they'll have the 4060 on here. 4060 Ti. So you got 370 here, so a little bit lower than that's already a little bit lower. So let's say that 340 for $30 more, you can get a 4060 Ti. I think that's a better use of your money right there, if you're looking at the 4060 series. So that, just some ideas out there of what's laying out on the market. And yeah, so getting into this, now that you've kind of seen what Nvidia is doing kind of out there, they talked, about power, these reviewers. The gaming is, yeah, there's an uplift over the 3060. It doesn't seem to really, it seems to match sometimes or beat the 3060 Ti, which I thought it should beat handily. It just seems like this generation, while you have the 4090, which is, hey, I'm going to beat whatever card was going to be out there, everything else on Nvidia's side seemed to be just not the performance we were looking for. You remember the fiasco with the, what was it, the 4080 12 gig or whatever it was? What was it? That fiasco when they started the launch of it, where now it's what, the 4070 Ti, or I think there. And I think this is just the representation of this generation. Is it missed on all the marks, and sitting out on this generation might be your best bet, and wait until the prices come into a price range if you're willing to build it, right? You're coming out of a cryptocurrency, just everything sold market, and now they're trying to go into an AI market, which is for the most part not on the gaming side of things at this point. So it's not a driver for a consumer that plays games to go out and buy a card, because what am I getting out of it for the AI side? I'm not. But businesses want the AI stuff, so that's where Nvidia's has their bread and butter right now. And we'll see as this generation goes on. I think that most of the prices are going to stay throughout the rest of the month in June, probably July. Right, we're almost done with June here. We got a few days left. Then we're into July, and they're going to come out with these other cards. The 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte, I believe, is coming out then too, if I recall. But as long that, yeah, coming in July would be the 16 gigabyte. So those come out. I think Nvidia is going to try to keep those as high as possible throughout, and I think Nvidia too, as we know what stock is at the end of July. I bet you we're going to see more price movements overall. So, heck, even the Intel, what was it, 750? I think I watched the Linus video as well. I think he did. I think they benchmarked that one was actually, comparable in some benchmarks, which I was, shocked at. I know they've been improving it, and that's not good at everything, but that card is still even competing in this realm of benchmarks with a card that should be there. Yeah, and one other thing, Nvidia, focus on 1440p. I think that would be a nice kind of move forward. I get some people, and a lot of people still play on 1080p, But I think if you were to move the mark and start marketing and getting a 1440p card as your baseline card, I think that would actually move to it, because I like that resolution better. Heck, I like 4K better, right? But I think that that would be really good to see as a progression standpoint in the gaming market, at least, and that's what you're really focused on with these cards, getting the mainstream in there and start pushing that, and that's where I would like to see it. So is this something I would buy? Heck, I'd wait a little bit longer. I like to see that. Heck, I like to see it at 250, the 7600 at like 200, you know, or getting a little closer to 200, like 210. But I think if you were to see it drop in the 270 range to 250 to 270, I think that makes this a much more attractive card. Really gets your price to performance plus your power budget. I think that for what we just came out of, it might be a lot better pill to swallow if you're in the market for one. Otherwise, there's a lot of other cards out there, used market, everything else. I believe the 6700, with where it is came down in price, is a very logical card to look at compared to this one, because, you know, I think it's a little bit better performance if I recall correctly there, and you can get it for about the same price or very close to it. So why not just go buy that card on, you know, on even on the new market, but there's also used market there as well, rather than jumping through and spending on brand new card, latest generation, that just doesn't give you all the performance that you're probably looking for. Let me know what your thoughts are on this 4060. You know, I'm getting to the point where I like to report on this. I like to give my thoughts on it, but it is, to me, like it's not really that interesting anymore. Yeah, I like to see the benchmarks. Yeah, I like to see all of that, but it's not enticing me to go buy it where the price is at. You know, you're paying 300 bucks. Yes, I get it. It's 30 bucks cheaper than the 3060 was at launch. But, you know, is this a generation where, hey, I got to go out and buy it? You know, that's where Nvidia's got to watch it, because if that goes away, where, hey, I got to go buy this, it is a must-have card, and you know, it's a must-have upgrade, right? Nvidia's at there, and, you know, being mad at it, Nvidia likes you being mad at them, right? Because it's like, oh, they're actually paying attention. I'm getting to it. Yeah, I'm paying attention, but it's not getting me anywhere. It's just like, okay, it's another card, another day. I mean, I even felt that way with the 7600. Okay. And you're not making me like, oh yeah, this is a good thing that you finally came out with something that is upgrade over last gen significant enough that I should go buy it. Yeah, you're a few gens old, maybe so, but you've already waited this long, a few gens old, so you can wait a little bit longer. That's my thought too. So with that, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I really do appreciate all the support you do and do for this channel. It's amazing. And do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell icon, all that sort of fun stuff that YouTube likes you to do. And until next time, God bless.